There are certain moments in everyday life that happen so often, we slowly stop noticing them completely. Some routines become invisible because they repeat again and again until they no longer feel important. And if you live with a dog, there is one small moment you have probably experienced hundreds of times. You suddenly stand up and begin walking somewhere inside the house without thinking twice about it. Maybe you are going to brush your teeth or stepping away for a quick shower. Just another completely normal routine. To you, it feels like an unimportant moment, something too ordinary to even notice. But somewhere nearby, your dog notices that movement immediately, even before you realize they were paying attention. Without making a sound, your companion quietly stands up and begins following behind you. And only seconds later, they stop directly outside the bathroom door and simply remain there waiting. The strange part is not that your dog followed you, it is how quickly they noticed your movement. Most people never think about standing up. It feels like a completely automatic action. To you, changing position means almost nothing. It happens hundreds of times every day. But for your dog, even tiny changes in your behavior are immediately noticeable. A shift in posture, a movement toward another room, a break in the normal pattern they were observing, and somehow, that tiny change instantly captures their attention. Only seconds earlier, they may have been resting peacefully without concern. But the moment your routine changes, something inside their mind becomes alert. Not because they are bored, and not because they need anything from you, but because your movement suddenly matters. And most owners never realize their dog has quietly been observing these tiny details every single day. Dogs do not simply react to random movement, they slowly learn patterns over time. Every single day, they quietly observe the way you move through your home. They notice when you wake up, where you usually go first, and what routines happen every morning. Over time, these repeated habits become familiar patterns in their mind. Your dog gradually learns what normal behavior looks like for you. So when something changes, even slightly, they notice immediately. A tiny movement that feels meaningless to you may stand out clearly to them. Because after living beside you long enough, your daily habits become deeply familiar to them. Even when they look completely relaxed, they are still quietly paying attention. And eventually, they understand your routines so well that even the smallest change can trigger their attention instantly. Most people think this behavior is simple curiosity, but the truth goes much deeper than that. Your dog is not reacting randomly. Something much older is quietly happening underneath. Long before dogs ever lived inside human homes, their ancestors survived by constantly watching their group. Back in the wild, paying attention was directly connected to survival itself. Every sudden movement inside the pack mattered, because unexpected change could signal danger nearby. Over thousands of years, this instinct became deeply embedded inside canine behavior. Modern dogs may sleep comfortably inside your home today, but those ancient instincts never fully disappeared. Watching movement around them still feels biologically important even now. So when you suddenly leave the room, their attention activates automatically. Not because they feel confused, but because deep survival instincts are still quietly guiding their behavior. Sometimes, we assume our dogs stay near us simply because they are used to our routines. But habits alone do not explain why they choose to stay close, even when nothing interesting is happening. You may be behind a closed bathroom door, doing absolutely nothing unusual. And still, your dog decides that waiting nearby matters. There is no food involved, no reward, no excitement. Yet somehow, being physically close still feels important to them. For dogs, distance can carry emotional meaning that humans often overlook. Remaining nearby may be their quiet way of maintaining connection. Not because they need something from you, but because being near you already means something important. And perhaps, what looks like simple waiting is actually something far more personal. The moment you step into the bathroom and close the door, something immediately changes from your dog's point of view. Only seconds ago, you were still moving freely beside them. Now suddenly, a barrier exists between both of you. For us, closing that door feels completely normal. It is simply another part of an ordinary daily routine. But dogs do not always interpret separation the same way humans do. Even very small changes can quickly affect how they react. The second they can no longer reach you directly, their awareness often begins shifting toward that separation. For many dogs, seeing where you are means knowing everything around you is still safe. And the moment they lose that visual connection, uncertainty can quietly begin replacing certainty. That may be exactly why some dogs choose not to walk away. Instead, they remain close to where you disappeared, not because they sense immediate danger, but because instinct quietly tells them staying near still matters. And while you may think your dog is simply waiting outside the door, your dog may believe staying close is still part of protecting you. What many people never realize is this: dogs often experience relationships very differently than we do. To your dog, staying close is not only about affection. Sometimes it becomes part of how they naturally respond to the person they trust most. Over thousands of years, dogs learned to survive by watching the humans beside them. Attention became part of connection. They slowly learned that small human movements could mean something important. A change in direction, a closed door, or sudden silence could all matter. And once the bond becomes strong enough, your presence begins carrying emotional weight inside their world. You are not just nearby, you are their point of reference. That is why many dogs choose to stay close during quiet, ordinary moments. They are not waiting for entertainment. They are staying connected. Even when nothing exciting is happening, your dog may still be reading the situation, because to them, ordinary moments can still require attention. You may simply think you wanted privacy for a few minutes, but your dog may only recognize that you suddenly became unreachable, and in their own quiet way, they may feel remaining close is still part of their responsibility. Not forced, not trained, just natural. Sometimes loyalty is not shown through dramatic actions. Sometimes loyalty simply looks like a dog refusing to walk away. Most people have probably seen this moment many times before. Their dog waits quietly outside the bathroom, and nothing about it feels unusual. But sometimes the behaviors we stop noticing are quietly saying far more than we realize. Even the smallest habits can carry emotional meaning. Your dog may not stay there simply because it feels routine. Remaining close may already feel like the most natural decision they can make. Dogs experience connection very differently than humans often do. Staying near someone important can become part of how they feel secure. They do not understand privacy in the way people understand privacy. What they understand much more clearly is distance and sudden separation. And sometimes that physical separation feels important enough for them to respond immediately, even when nothing dangerous is happening at all. So while you may think your dog is simply sitting there waiting for you, your dog may believe staying close still matters in that exact moment. Perhaps they are not looking for attention the way most people assume. Perhaps leaving you alone simply feels wrong to them. Real loyalty is not always dramatic, loud, or easy to notice. Sometimes loyalty quietly reveals itself through the smallest everyday moments. So the next time your dog waits patiently outside that bathroom door, you may realize they were never simply waiting there in the first place.